Good evening. I want to thank all of you who took time out of your schedules this evening, assuming you're on the West Coast. It's later in the evening if you're on the East Coast. And considering that we have graduates around the world, whatever time it is where you are, thank you for tuning in for this first Fireside chat. What we are engaging in at Linfield is active outreach to all of our alumni around the world, and this represents a fresh opportunity to engage you in the college no matter where you are. Some of you have sent in questions ahead of time that want us to explore these issues. These issues come in from you, things that you want to know, and so without further ado, we're going to jump into the questions. Actually, our first question comes from an alumna from the class of 1988. Well, actually, she has three questions. I want to let you know that you're using up your allotment of questions here, but we'll give you the three that you asked. And so you said, can you say a few words about your first semester? My first semester has been incredible. It's not that it hasn't been without challenges, but for me, the best part about being at an institution like Linfield, or quite frankly, being in an academy, is the opportunity to learn. We always assume that we're there to teach or instruct, but being at Linfield and learning all the new things that I've learned about the programs, about the students, meeting so many new people at both the McMinnville and Portland campus, it represented an opportunity for me to continue to grow. And in case you don't know, I had never spent time in Oregon before, and so it's been an exciting opportunity for me to learn and grow and adapt. And quite frankly, even though people back east, where I came from, talked about the weather there, I think it's part of an Oregon plot to keep people out of the country, out of the state, because quite frankly, I love it. And even when it's rain, it's kind of a dry rain, so it's okay. What are your plans for Linfield in 2019? This is something that is continuing to evolve and grow. We have some exciting things happening at Linfield that were put into place quite unexpectedly, to be honest with you. One of those things is that we were able to secure a permanent home for the Good Samaritan School of Nursing. That was not an expected development. So great deal of 2019 will be spent preparing for that transition to the new campus. Also, we will be working with faculty, staff, and students to look at what are the incredible options that Linfield can offer as we move into a new year and promote that. And the final question is, what are the best things that alumni can do to support your work? First of all, you being tuned in is a great opportunity because you're staying informed. The other thing is to come back and engage us. We have understood for a long time that alumni from Linfield tend to do very well once they leave here. While some of the newer people coming in need to benefit from your knowledge and wisdom. We have wonderful people who are responsible for coordinating interaction with alumni for you to be there. And I also have a simple request for you, which is very important, because one of the things that we focus in on is our ability to engage alumni. Well, how the external world measures that is through alumni giving. Now, let me be clear. I understand that people who have left here may be in jobs such as education or in nursing or other aspects of things that don't necessarily have high six-figure salaries. But how an institution is measured is not by how much alumni give, but how many alumni give. So if you're willing to share with us, it's that time of the year where people are most generous. It's that wonderful time of the year. If you're able to give $10, $20 or more, it would be greatly appreciated to promote. But even if you can't do that, stay engaged with our alumni office, and we would like to see you on campus to participate in events like homecoming, or if you're local in the area, to speak to a class. There's an alumnus from the class of 1962. Thank you for joining us and asking this question. And their question is, Linfield has gained national recognition and academic prestige by focusing on the theme, the power of a small college. What is your understanding of how Linfield can continue to succeed by emphasizing its success and strength as a small college? Well, I actually want to push back on that a little bit. I'm not sure whether Linfield has gained prestige by focusing in on the theme, a power of a small college. And quite frankly, that's a relatively recent theme. for Linfield. That was not always part of how Linfield marketed and positioned itself. The reputation of Linfield has been around, and part of what Linfield has been doing for 160 years is educating students in a high quality manner and making sure that they have the skills that allow people to be free, to reason, to think, to write well, and engage. And so that is the reputation that Linfield has built on, and it's just done within a context of smaller classroom. And so even as we look for positioning ourselves for growth, we will continue to focus in on the things that allow people to be considered free, which is what the root of the word liberal arts means. Says an emeritus professor has sent in, I don't have a graduation year, but say he's an emeritus professor, so he's been here. And so we'll put that within the alumni category. The question is asking about whether there are budget concerns and restructuring in mind for this year. He wants to know what is going on with that. Well, this is something that I've been addressing since day one. So I'm going to repeat this for those who may be tuning in for the first time, is that most of Linfield's operating budget comes from tuition and fees. In fact, 92% of his operating budget comes from tuition and fees. Unfortunately, over the past 3 years, there has been a precipitous decline in enrollment in our programs, which has an impact upon our budget. So students vote with their feet. What classes are they enrolling in? What programs are they coming to? What is being done? But I also want to let you know that this is not a Linfield unique issue. There are changes that are happening all over the country in regards to higher education, who's attending, who's enrolling. And so a lot of colleges are having to rethink the nature of their programs. And so what Linfield does as good stewards of its budget and resources is saying, how do we position ourselves for growth? How do we restructure existing programs so that we are competitive? How can we be distinctive? In fact, an addition that was added last year that shows that Linfield is constantly innovating was the addition, or not last year, actually a couple of years ago, was the wine studies program. It would not have made sense 20 years ago because the Willamette Valley did not have as much of a wine industry, and it was not as well known as it is now. But the previous president and administration saw that this was a great opportunity and teamed up with an incredible partner, Domaine Serene, to receive a gift to promote wine studies. This is an example of restructuring. This is an example of adding programs. It's some people think it as a negative thing, but it is an adapting to the world in which we've in. Linfield has been doing this for a while. There were times that we've had programs that we no longer have. So this is not a new or radical idea, and quite frankly, Linfield has been in bad situations before that we've managed to come out of. It comes out of those programs by adapting to the world, and that's what we're attempting to do right now. So we have a question from a current parent, and that parent says, will there be on-campus resident halls for students at the new nursing campus in Northeast Portland when Linfield moves there? We are exploring every option possible for students to reside on campus or off campus. We are looking at exploring various partnerships with organizations to build them, support them. Right now, that is still in the planning phase. I did have a conversation earlier today with the Dean of the School of Nursing. I know that they are on top of this, and there's going to be an email going out to any students who are coming in who will be part of that program that I know that her and her staff will be sending out soon. So there's a question from the community, from a local McMinnville resident regarding educational programs for retirees. Is there an opportunity for Linfield to add a revenue stream while strengthening bonds with the community? Well, I don't know whether you know this, but right now, members of the community 65 or older are allowed to attend Linfield and audit classes free of charge. And quite frankly, I would not want to, how can I say this? I would not want to try to add revenue stream for my seniors. Maybe it is my cultural background. I have a lot of respect for elders. And I think that gets to a point where we shouldn't be trying to use them to grow or develop things. I believe that an institution in a community like Linfield, where Linfield College is the only four-year institution in that community, that we have a responsibility to give back. And one of the ways in which we're giving back to the community is by allowing those who are 65 and older to audit classes here free of charge. And so if you're thinking about doing that, come on down, and don't worry, we'll figure out other things to do revenue streams, but it won't be on senior citizens that we put that burden. There's an alumna from the class of 1983. It says, what is your vision to set Linfield apart and offer it a competitive edge over other small liberal arts colleges in the Pacific Northwest? Well, that's an interesting question, because we have to explore what does it mean to be a liberal arts college. There are a lot of things that Linfield does that has already begun to set it apart, including the phenomenal reputation it has in its nursing program, including the growth in its business program, including its sports management, including what we do in wine studies. These are things, interestingly enough, that are not normally associated with what we call a liberal arts. However, what makes Linfield unique and what sets Linfield apart is its ability to integrate knowledge and learning in even its professional or pre-professional programs. And so we have this thing we call the liberal arts, and we use it as a foundation for all of our students and then prepare them to go out into the world. I believe the reason that Linfield graduates are earning a significant amount more on average than graduates at other institutions in Oregon is because we prepare them to think well. We teach them to write well. We teach them to speak well, and they're allowed to connect the dots, which is at the heart of a liberal arts education. These are the types of things that will set us apart, and we may grow into something even more than that, but it's not about being constrained by one particular identity at this point. Is as we add things and add programs that are relevant to our students who are coming into our school at this particular time. We have a question that come in, the budget cutting impact on Linfield athletics. There has been no determination of how the budget gets cut in any particular area. Right now, there are members of the administration, there are members of the faculty, there are students that are involved that are exploring what is it that we need to do at Linfield to remain competitive. I will say that we are continuing to invest in programs that are growing, and that we will continue to explore what is the best way for us to move forward. You cannot just cut things, and this is not about cutting. It's about us moving forward and restructuring our programs to be competitive in a different era. A status of fundraising for new science building. This is a good question. So the status of fundraising for the new building. So let me say, first of all, if you're watching this and you're able to make a 8-figure gift, we can totally go live and start bringing this building up out of the ground right now. So if you're out there and you enjoy that and able to do that, I would appreciate it very much. If you can't do that, the simple answer to the question is we're about 25% into the money raised for the science building. We're waiting to get the significant money in. We have pledged amounts that are a matching amount, which is why it's important for you to be engaged. We haven't officially launched the campaign, but I will tell you that the sooner that we can get to a point where we're 40% in, it allows us to work with our donors to get matching funds that we can begin construction of something that is important to our future. And I want to go back to the question I was asked about a vision. So part of the vision for Linfield is that we will continue to be one of the premier institutions in Oregon around the sciences and what it is that we're doing. And that science build is important not just for the applied sciences that we do in terms of physics and things that we're working on, but also the ability to feed in to the health professions, which is why our nursing program is good, as well as the study of basic biology and chemistry that allow exploration of a number of other areas. These things are important to the overall well-being and development of Linfield College. And so I'm seeing that we may be slowing down on relevant questions. So here's what I want to say to you as we're beginning to wrap up. Linfield is an incredible institution, particularly your alumni. You know this. You've had the opportunity to get a fine education here. A significant number of you have met your significant others at this institution. So you got a double gift. Not only you got a good education, you got a wonderful partner in the process. Along with that, you have fond memories. I just want to encourage you to have to allow the opportunity for those who are coming behind you to have those same type of memories. I hope that you continue to support the college in whatever way you can support the college. I hope that you can continue to engage with us. Your questions show that you care. Please provide us with the opportunity to engage with those questions. And we look forward to seeing you at homecoming and a number of other events coming up in the new year. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your involvement. Be well. Be blessed. Thank you.